We waited 2 years to buy these GOSO carbon steel pans, and they have quickly taken over our camping cookware. Now, these are quite a bit heavier than our other carbon steel pans, but we found that they cook really great. You can use this on a gas stove, induction cooktop, or even on the campfire. We'll show you the features of these pans, why it took us so long to buy them, and then we're gonna cook up a meal so you can see how well they work, because we are hungry. You have found Explore, Trek, Adventure with Kelly and Greg. We cover everything camping from backpacking to adventure van. I'll put affiliate links down in the description below of the pan set that we have, so it's easy for you to find. It doesn't feel like summer should be over yet, but it definitely is. Check out all these leaves. They're totally changed in color. We first found out about these pans 2 years ago at the Overland Expo. And that was the first time we actually heard about carbon steel pans. It was something that we had not ever tried or actually seen in use before. So why did we wait so long to buy these? Well, they are not cheap pans, and we had never used carbon steel before, so we wanted to maybe do a little bit more research and see if it was something that we actually would want. And we ended up buying a couple of cheaper pans and actually really liked carbon steel. We saw them again at 2 more expos, the Adventure Van one and another Overland one, which is when we pulled the trigger and decided to go ahead and order these.
They have a couple different kinds of sets, but this is kind of like the default one that people choose, and so we grabbed it. This is a 10-inch pan and also an 8-inch pan. Can you guess which one we use more? I think the more gnarly the pan looks, like the better they are. These pans are made of a 14 gauge carbon steel, so they're noticeably thicker than any other carbon steel pan we have. That was one thing that kind of surprised me. Every other carbon steel pan that we've seen anywhere, they've been really pretty thin and super light. These were considerably heavier. These are not nearly as heavy as cast iron that we have. This extra thickness really keeps these pans from creating any hot spots. From what we found, it almost heats really evenly, kind of like cast iron does. Also in the combo, you do get this detachable handle, and it does have a little clip here, so when you clip it on, this holds it into place. The funny thing is Kelly has like the absolute hardest time to get this thing on, but really when you put it on, it's super simple. You just take it and kind of pop it over, clamp it on, and there it is. And then you flip that over, and it is totally on there. This thing is not going anywhere.
These pans did not show up like this when we first got them. They had to be seasoned. You have to oil them up, and you put them in the oven for 400 degrees or 500 degrees, something super hot, for quite a few hours. And then you take them out, re-oil them up again, and put them back in the oven. This one hasn't had much use, and it's freshly seasoned. That was 3 times for 3 hours, oiling it in between each session. Now this one we use a lot. I just actually re-seasoned it again, put it in the oven at 400 for a couple hours, and it doesn't look the prettiest, but it's clean and it works great. Let's grab some ingredients so that we can cook up some lunch and show you how well this pan cooks up. Unfortunately, this camp spot's a little muddy, so I actually have some house slippers that I use in the van to keep my feet warm and keep the van a little bit clean.
Man, it seems just like 2 weeks ago I was wearing shorts. Now I've got 2 coats on. The sun is still out, but man, it is cold. But we'll show you first on the butane stove and how it cooks on there, and then for the second part we'll switch over to induction. These pans do not come with a lid, and having a lid is kind of handy in van life because you don't want to get splatter everywhere. So we use this Sinsart lid that came with our original pan set. When you're cooking inside especially, you don't want to get grease up onto any surface really inside the van. We like to cheat with our potatoes. We actually nuked these prior to throwing in the pan. Oh no, we're almost out of garlic powder. That's a tragedy. Secret ingredient. Pan's been on for like 8 or so minutes. This handle does, I mean, it's all metal. It does get hot. It's warm, I can still pick it up, but if you're gonna have it on there for a long time, just make sure you're using a heat pad. But you can easily pop it off if you don't want this thing to get hot. But it's time to take these off.
We're gonna cook up some tofu steaks. We're gonna make a little sauce to put them on. Some soy sauce, some maple syrup, a little mix of everything. Yes. Or teaspoons, I mean. Apple cider vinegar. This actually has come in pretty handy, having apple cider vinegar in the van. A couple recipes I use have called for it. The most important, I think, for the little bit of a sweetness is maple syrup. This little container is like the perfect size for maple syrup.
These pans do not have any kind of non-stick surface. They're just like cast iron. So when you season them, it kind of creates this non-stick surface. Ours is not perfect. You can see, although I had the pan way too hot at the start, we have a little stickage right there, but for the most part, actually, it's pretty clean. Best part of all is there's no Teflon or any special coating on this. It's just raw seasoning on the bare metal. Getting a good coating of seasoning on these pans is exactly the same as cast iron. So if you've got that process down, you're gonna have no problem with these. For these tofu steaks, you know, I think we would learn our lesson and not try brand new recipes or videos, but here we go. We normally cube up our tofu, which makes it nice and easy. We'll get a lot of oil in there, and then we will throw these on here. We want to try and get them a little brown or some kind of texture to them before we add the seasoning in. So you can see how fast that pan gets hot. And that's the one thing I do want to mention. When I cook those potatoes, I cooked them a little too hot. So start on the lower side of the temperature range and then work your way up. These pans get hot pretty fast. Another big bonus is how compact these pans are. There's no extra things hanging off of them. These are other carbon steel pans. So this one is pretty compact, but check out, this has this thing that just doesn't go away, so it doesn't nest really well. And here's our OXO one. The handle does come off, but you're still left with this thing hanging off there. So when you're sticking it in to the cupboard, you know, this thing bangs around on stuff. You can see our seasoning on here is very similar to on there. But having no extra bits hanging off of this just makes storing these, especially in the van, super handy. We wanted to show you how it worked on induction, so we turned off the gas stove. Yeah, we did start, but you can see the oil's already cooled back down. So we're gonna just stick this over here. We'll get this gas stove out of the way and then get it back started on induction. Start out about 240. You'll see how fast this oil heats up. This is on a medium-low temperature too. It's already starting to bubble up here. And I've found about 250 degrees actually is a pretty good fry. So having around 220 to 270, that's kind of the range I've been doing.
We have these go-to spices that we use quite a bit. You know, we have a couple other rubs and some other seasonings, but we don't really have one that's like absolutely must have. Do you guys have a suggestion for a spice that you would use and you'd never leave home without it?
The most of the frying of this was on 240. I bumped it up to 250 just to get a little more char on there. We're starting to get some good color on there. So I think we're gonna bump the temperature down a little bit and we're gonna pour in our seasoning. That's why we put those slits in there. It lets the seasoning get down inside. We're gonna bump the temperature down even more. We're gonna let this simmer for a little bit, let that seasoning get in there.
Now these pans are from a small business and the owner is the one that actually comes to these expos. And GOSO actually stands for Get Outside, Stay Outside. So that's kind of a cute little naming convention since he is an avid camper as well. The products themselves, the pans, they are actually milled or created in a U.S. factory, and it's actually U.S. steel as well. Brent, the owner of the company, actually came up with this idea because he didn't want to have these cheap disposable pans. He wanted something that is going to last a lifetime, and they actually have a lifetime warranty. It was really nice being able to actually talk to the creator of these pans because we had a lot of questions. We actually talked to him, I think, at every single expo that we went to. And that is what I think pushed us over the edge to get these pans.
We've cooked a lot of different stuff with this, ranging from burgers to veggies to tofu to pretty much everything you could possibly think of. Ooh, look at that. That's a pretty fancy meal for a backwoods lunch. Yes, we have a little ketchup here because we are American. Let's try and see how this turned out. Get a little of that, get a little bit of potato. A big bite. Oh, it turned out good. It got a nice good crust on there.
We don't have the best seasoning on this, but you can see what it's like. It's pretty non-stick. We just wipe it out when we're done and then just put just a little bit more oil into it. And it's good to go. We don't use soap and water, or we just use water to wipe it out if we need to, the really hard bits, but basically just wipe it out. For those really tough bits, we do have a little chainmail scrubber and a little OXO scrubber that's got a rubber edge to it. These pans are really easy to take care of. They seem like they come from a really good company that actually care about what they make, and we highly recommend them. Before we let you go, we got some name suggestions for our newest little plant in the van. They are Leaf Erickson, Planty McPlantface, Phil the Philodendron, and Plant Groot. And the winner is Meet Phil the Philodendron. Lunch turned out great, but I think to make it even better, we will saute some mushrooms for it next time. You can go watch this video next. You can find us at explorertrekadventure.com, and we'll see you next time.